Calling to order this meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission. This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission is cablecast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T Uverse cable systems. This meeting is closed captioned and is webcast at www.sacmetrocabletv and will replay on Saturday, September 3rd at noon on Metro Cable 14. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker identification form located at the podium and hand it to the clerk. And with that, Karen, can you call the roll, please?
Walter?
Here.
Carr?
Here.
Dittrich?
Here.
Polo?
Here.
Gonzalez?
Here.
Hernandez? Morin?
Here.
Natoli? Schmidt? Nava?
Here.
Turner?
Present.
Skoglund?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Commissioner Polo, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this afternoon?
I pledge of allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Karen, would you call the first item, please?
Agenda item number 1 is a closed session with legal counsel on 3 matters.
Okay, the board will adjourn to closed session. So just back here. Closed session. Harry, is there anything we need to report out?
No, there's no reportable action.
Great, thank you. Karen, can you call the next item, please?
Item number 2 is the 2 resolutions and supporting documents to adopt the fiscal year 16-17 final general fund budget and the PEG fee fund budget.
Good afternoon. I'm Bob Davison, your Executive Director. For this item, it is the final budget for Fund 94A, the general fund budget, and 94B, the PEG fund budget. I think the final budgets are very close to the proposed budgets, but I will highlight the changes between proposed and final. First, there's an increase in the carryover fund balance from last year of about $245,000, and that's just simply the money that was estimated maybe would have been spent last year, but it wasn't, so it was carried forward and added to the fund balance. And that just provides a little more funding to fund the commission operations and programs and such. Also, from the budget meeting, direction from the budget meeting has resulted in an increase of about $583,000 to the revenue distribution for member agencies, and this is from the board's direction that we increase the revenue estimate for franchise fees to be consistent with the franchise fees that were received in the last fiscal year. And so that's $583,000, and that's spread to the member agencies based on population, just like the remainder of the franchise fees. Also, direction from the last meeting was to increase the channel licensees' operations base, the annual adjustment from 5% to 7.9%. So that increase is in this budget. There's a small increase for salaries and wages. One is we want to change our office assistant position. One of the positions, we have 2, and we want to make it a confidential position that has a little more salary to it. With the size of the commission, it's important to have more staff that can deal with confidential matters. And also to have a little more money for temporary help, which has been important lately. With that, there have been several other adjustments. We're proposing to add $15,000 for closed captioning, an additional $70,000 for fixed assets, which we actually had reduced at the proposed budget, but now with the extra carry forward funding, we're increasing it to, I think, where it had been before. And then also adding $70,000 for contingency, and then $17,500 for extra DTEC support. And one thing that is going on is that we are working with the county's Department of Technology, looking at all the equipment, a lot of it that's in this back control room, and talking to the county about how it's hooked up and all the ports and everything. What does happen, though, is if we increase our number of ports, then we increase our charges from the county, and it's hard to predict exactly what those charges would be We try to talk to the county in a way that we're not just adding ports and not looking at that cost, but it may make sense to make some of these changes. And also, certainly we can have discussions with the county about if we're adding a port for a machine that we maintain and they don't do much maintenance on, then maybe there shouldn't be a charge to it. So those talks are going on, and I would just like a little more money in the budget so that we can have those discussions. So with that, that's the general fund budget. 94B, the public education government channel facilities fee budget, it's relatively the same. There's a small increase in the carry forward fund balance. As we talked about in the general fund, the base to the channel licensees, the annual adjustment was increased from 5% to 7.9%. There was a small increase in Rancho Cordova's PEG project, so we just wanted to make sure we had the right amount for that. And then we balanced things out with a small reduction with the contingency. And certainly I'll answer any questions you have, but with that, I recommend that your board adopt the fiscal year 16-17 final budgets for both funds, 94A and 94B, including all the related resolutions and attachments. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions?
I'll move staff's recommendation on item 2.
Second.
All right. Karen, can we have the vote screen, please?
Okay, we'll close and display voting. Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Item number 3 is Resolution 2016-017, approving the Commission's updated Conflict of Interest Code.
Hello, Bob Davidson again. I'm sure your board members are familiar with the FPC requirements for disclosure of conflicts of interest, assuming office annually and leaving office. Well, these regulations do require a biennial review. Also, the county, who is they're designated by law to be the reviewing body of our conflict of interest forms and such. They notified our commission as well as other special districts that they were kind of revamping their process, their electronic filing process and such, and they wanted to make sure that all the special districts' conflict of interest codes were consistent with what the county was doing. And so with that, we made an effort to update our conflict of interest code. We coordinated this with the county's clerks as well as our legal counsel, and what you have before you is a code that reflects those changes. At the dais, you will find a revision to the resolution and the code that's in the staff report. They're very, very minor changes, but we did want to point out those changes to you, so they're redlined for your information. For example, the clerk of the commission is also our filing official, not the filing officer. If we said it's actually the county that's our filing officer, so we wanted to make sure that distinction was clear. That distinction was correct in the attached policy, but it wasn't correct in the resolution. And also we wanted to make sure that it's not just employees, it's positions, so it's board members, it's consultants, it's employees as well, and so we made those changes. Other changes in the conflict of interest code is actually very similar to the code that's been in place since I think the 1980s. But at the county's request, we have listed all the positions, so it is clear that what the number of positions and what the number of board members there are. So I think that they have some reconciliation in regards to how many forms that they should be getting from each of the special districts. Also, we categorize the disclosure items into 5 categories, and that's consistent with the look of a lot of other conflict of interest codes that your board probably deals with. Our previous code listed out most of these disclosure items, but it was just a big long list, and so we actually consolidated that and updated the language a little bit. But the actual disclosure items, or what disclosure items apply to which board member or which staff person, have not really changed that much. And with that, certainly I can answer any questions you may have. And I recommend that your board adopt the resolution approving the updated code, including Appendix A and B. And for your information, the code will then be forwarded to the County of Sacramento for approval. The county can approve, revise, or possibly have us return to the commission for revisions. I'm asking for the direction that it's in the resolution that executive director, in coordination with commission council, can make minor changes. So if there are some minor wording issues that come up, we can make those changes without bringing that back to the board. And with that, I recommend that you adopt today's resolution.
I move item 3.
I'll second.
All right, please vote.
Close the display voting. The motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Please call the next item.
Item number 4 is the July 1st, 2015 report on GASB 45 retiree benefit valuation.
Good afternoon again. In 2010, the commission implemented GASB 45 requirements, and we actually retained Bickmore, who's an actuary, to perform a valuation study of the commission's other than post-employment benefits, its benefits other than retirement. Mainly, it's the retiree medical that gets paid to commission employees that retire. The GASB requirements required that we include in our financials what those liabilities are. Also, the commission also authorized participation in the CalPERS OPEB trust to pre-fund some of these liabilities, and we've been paying into that OPEB trust for the past several years. Now the GASB requirements require a valuation every 3 years, but because we participate in that CalPERS trust, that requires valuation reports to be submitted every 2 years. And so to meet this requirement, the actuary has prepared the valuation report. The results of the study show that the annual required contribution for the OPEB benefits is $80,216 on June of 2016 and $82,600 on June of 2017. And with that, every budget will include an amount for the amount that goes into the trust that helps pre-fund some of these liabilities. So it's recommended that the board receives and file this report. And I can certainly answer any questions that you might have.
I have no questions. Have a motion?
It's actually receive and file.
Oh, it's receive and file.
Even file.
Oh, I paid close attention to that one. All right, then. We'll move on to the next item, please.
Item number 5 is Resolution 2016-018, approving the pregnancy-related leaves and transfer privileges policy.
First of all, staff is currently working on a comprehensive update of commission personnel rules and procedures. A lot of our rules and procedures go back to the 1980s, and in a comprehensive review of those procedures with Karen Liu and Commission Counsel, we do feel that there's a need to revise, simplify, and bring many of our policies up to date, and that is being worked on. I hope to bring it back in December. But in that review, we did find one policy that we felt should come back earlier than waiting for that review. During that review, in talking to council, we recognized that the commission's policy for pregnancy disability leave really should be updated. So attached is a pregnancy-related leaves and transfer privileges policy as prepared by legal counsel that will ensure the commission is compliant with today's laws. The policy allows for unpaid leave for up to 17 1/3 weeks, 4 months, during a period of actual disability due to pregnancy. Now, employees may use any sick leave, must use any sick leave, and may use any other leave balances during that time. They're not required to use vacation, for example, but they would be required to use their sick leave. Also, it's also very, and this is pretty important, the policy allows for integration with state disability insurance. So if the employee has current balances, they can, well, they certainly, by all employees in the commission are eligible for SDI, but SDI doesn't pay your full salary. With integration, if the employee has certain leave balances, they can get integrated benefits up to the amount of their salary, I believe, or very close to it. So with that, it's recommended that the board adopt a resolution approving this pregnancy-related leaves and transfer privileges policy. And I'll answer any questions that you might have.
Mr. Carr.
Yes, Bob, just looking at the policy, is the term we're using is pregnancy disability. Are all pregnancies a disability, or is there a separate category of pregnancies that disable? Would any pregnant person, woman, be able to get this? Or
So
do they
my
have to have some other special disability?
Yeah.
So my understanding is, for certain periods of time, pretty much
your mic on?
all pregnancies are eligible for disability. That would be approximately, and I'm not the expert on this, one of my partners is, but that would be approximately for a month before and 6 weeks after. It changes depending on whether the delivery requires a cesarean or something like that. After that, either prior to that or after that, the disability period could be longer depending on the particular person's medical condition.
And is this in line with the county's policy?
This is in line with all the legal policies required by the state of California.
Okay, thank you.
And that kind of leads to a question that I had in my briefing with Bob and Karen last week, which is this is addressing the disability leave policy. But I was curious as to whether or not in this review that's ongoing, there would be an opportunity to change the paid leave policy to be consistent with the county's, which provides 4 weeks of parental leave for either parent.
There's definitely an opportunity to do that. The board could give direction to staff to look at that and bring a recommendation back when we bring the rest of the policies
Okay.
back.
I'd like to see that. I don't know about everyone else here, but when my 2 boys were born, having 4 weeks to be at home with my wife made it a heck of a lot easier to integrate the chaos that came out of the 2 of their births. So
So the board could just ask staff to bring back a proposed policy, and then it would be up to the board at the meeting it came back to decide whether to adopt that policy or not.
okay, and just put that in the motion.
Or do it separately.
Do it as a separate matter. Okay. Do we have any other requests to speak? Mr. Turner?
No.
No?
I'm sorry,
Okay.
we need a motion.
All right. Then can we have a motion first on the, this is an action item? Yes. Need a motion on the pregnancy leave.
I'll make a motion to move the item.
Second.
Please vote.
Close and display. Motion passes. Thank you.
And then would a second motion be
Another
appropriate?
motion for that? For
Yeah,
Right.
I'll make a motion to direct staff to review the commission's parental leave policy and compare it to the county's and come back with a recommendation for a possible revision to the parental leave policy for new parents.
I'll second
adoptions,
that.
et cetera.
I'll second that as well.
Okay, please vote.
Clear and display. Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, next item, please.
Item number 6 is the calendar year 2017 quarterly board meeting schedule.
And this basically shows 4 meetings for 2017, consistent with previous direction, March, June, September, and December meeting. It would be the first Thursday of those months at 2:30.
Move the item.
This one is just a receive and file. So
Correct.
unless anyone has any comments about the 4 meetings, we can just receive and file this item and move on to the next item, Karen.
Item number 7 is a general administration report from our executive director.
Okay. Actually, I'll take these in reverse order. Maybe staff can bring up the website while I talk about the BestNet, because that won't take that long. At the previous meeting, we talked about negotiations with Comcast related to BestNet, and those were related to items that were in the budget that were approved in June. We were hoping to bring an agreement back to this meeting, but the discussions haven't got to the point where there's any agreement. So I just wanted to let the board know that those discussions were continuing, and hopefully, whether it'll be in December or a meeting after that, we will be bringing a revised or amended BestNet agreement to your board. So with that, I wanted to talk about the new Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission website. It's been significantly redesigned. So I think that's showing up on the, oh, there it is. So staff worked with the county's Department of Technology to revise the website. All commission staff was involved in this process, and I thank everybody, because everybody had good input, and I think the product came out really good. This was in line with the county wanting to revise the look and feel of all the county websites, and so we were able to piggyback onto that effort. And the county Department of Technology staff was really good at leading us in this effort to help prepare this update. The style's been improved. The look's more modern, and the look is more softer than before. There's a lot of verbiage that was, I think we're presenting the same information with a lot less words, and it makes it easier for people to negotiate this site. This site is also compatible with multiple devices, including mobile phones and iPhones, iPads, and tablets, and is much easier to navigate. With that, I'll direct your attention to either your screens or the large screens, and I'll just show you quickly some of the pages on this website. So this is the main page. There's a scrolling at the top that shows each of the member agencies. These are pictures that staff either took or got, mostly related to member agencies, either their chambers or their, in this case, the Citrus Heights Community Center. In this case, that's, I think, in the chambers for Elk Grove. These pictures are changeable, but we just wanted to show each of the 7 member agencies. There are 3 main icons. Watch meetings live, and there's several places on the website that you can click this, and that actually takes you. Oh, I'm supposed to turn that down, or we'll get feedback. Okay, this came up faster in the test, but oh, it's going to show the exact same thing because the web page is on TV right now, so that's actually showing the web page. Anyway, so we do stream Metro Cable on the web, and it's easy to access. The county actually is, I think, working on updating the stream so that it's compatible with all phones. This stream works on some mobile devices now, but not all. Mm-hmm. You can easily click to the broadcast calendar. It shows when all the meetings are. And the look of that has been improved by staff. And then if you have a cable complaint, you certainly can call the commission. You certainly can send us an email. But you can also get on the website and click here. And this explains the complaint process, and you can actually click this link and get a form that you can fill out, and that goes right to the commission. There's 2 main portions of the website. There's the Cable Commission, and then there's Metro Cable 14. For the Cable Commission, there are several pages. I won't go through them all. But for example, the community programming, if you click that link, it shows our community programming partners, says who they are, and actually you can link to their websites from this website. So that's there. And actually, throughout the website, you can get to various portions of the page without going back. So if you want to go to the Metro Cable website, you can just go click the Metro Cable at the top. You could also click it up there on the bar as well. So this is the Metro Cable's main page. And again, it has a broadcast calendar and watching the meetings live. And for example, if you want to know how to get a copy of the meetings, that page tells you how to get a copy. So with that, that's just a quick tour of the new website. I don't know how many of you were familiar with the old website. The information was there. It was not always the best looking site in the world, admittedly. I think this one's a lot better. So anyway.
I don't know, as someone who's been with the county for a long time, I still prefer the old version of the county and commission website.
Oh?
I just don't like change. Isaac, you had or Mr.
Yeah,
Gonzalez?
thank you. I just wanted to commend staff on the update to the website. I like change, and I think it looks very nice and user friendly. And I actually was able to spend some time in the office earlier this afternoon. And thank you, Bob and Karen, for making yourself available, and all staff for making yourself available for the tour. And I was able to actually see the ingest point for cable complaints, and that was very nice to see that people are already going to the website and using that form, and that it's a part of the tool that allows the commission to fulfill its duties. So thank you for that. One quick question: is this a WordPress-based website?
Sorry?
Is this a WordPress-based website? Is it on the WordPress platform? Does anybody know?
If Kristen or Bill can come out, they might know.
Not important. Not important enough. But just curious if you knew.
You know, I was certainly went to several meetings where the platform was named. I honestly don't remember.
Okay. Thank you.
We can check on that and report.
All right. Yeah. We'll follow up just by
Okay,
email.
sure.
I'm just interested to know. Thank you.
All right. Well, no further questions, so I guess, Karen, we can go to the next item.
Item number 8 is the channel licensing reports.
And I have no requests to speak, so next item, please.
Gary, did you fill out a request to speak form? I'm sorry, that was channel licensees.
Yes. Oh, well, I have these listed as for item 9.
Oh, really?
Okay. Anyways,
Karen, Channel 8 was for the franchisees, and item 9 is for the license.
for the licensees, yeah, okay.
Okay, so we
For the
swapped.
state
Sorry
licensees.
about that.
Okay. It's all right. So, and Gary, why don't you, yeah. We're still on item 8. There's no one here for item 9.
Heavens knows I would never miss an opportunity to talk. So just a couple of brief updates, and particularly to begin with, a thank you to the Commission for the support that you've given us, both on the restricted side and the unrestricted side. We are in the throes of moving toward high definition in all of our equipment, and that's very, very exciting. There's a handout that I provided for you, which talks about the equipment that you bought for us last year. You can see the HD truck. It has been used for one event so far, and tomorrow night we will premiere live high-definition broadcasting for Game of the Week, and that's what this handout deals with that I've provided for you. On page 3 of that handout, it shows that our first game tomorrow is Jesuit at Folsom. We begin at 7 o'clock. Certainly encourage you to tune in and to see the truck in use. We're going to do a halftime presentation about the truck and introduce people to it. So we're very thankful to you for that purchase last year and ultimately for our use of it this year. We have several things that are coming up with the truck in addition to sports. We're going to be out in Carmichael here in a couple of weeks for the Cruise Fest, which we'll be televising on a tape delay basis. We'll be covering the Apapa Voter Forum in October, leading toward the November general election. But I do have a video that I want to show you because a couple weeks ago we televised some Sacramento youth in the Skip's Stairway to Stardom rock concert kind of training program that they have. And so I'll give you 90 seconds of something that came out of the new truck that you paid for. Here's Skip's Stairway to Stardom. And so the important part of what you just saw, if you noticed in the last 90 seconds that you were watching television, and you forgot that you were watching public access, and you forgot that you were seeing something that was created locally. It's a beautiful broadcast that features 10 bands that are from Sacramento County that 12 weeks before did not exist. This training program brought people together that allows them to create a rock band, 3 original songs, and we televised that on Access Sacramento as part of Skip's Stairway to Stardom. So you bring that to the community through your support, both in our restricted and unrestricted side. So just 2 other things to mention to you. One, we are monitoring through our trade association, the Alliance for Community Media, some issues with regard to closed captioning. I know you've just increased your own budget on that amount. The rules in the FCC affecting PEG are kind of in transit right now. We would not be forced to closed caption our programs because under FCC proposed rules now, unless you're spending $3 million per channel, you aren't subject to having to closed caption. That's for PEG operations. You as a government entity obviously have different rules under ADA and some of those things. I'm not going to give you your own law. But I will tell you we're monitoring the closed captioning situation because the FCC right now is proposing that those channels that are under the limit have to file with the FCC annually to provide that exemption, and that would affect each and every program provider that we have. They also would have to file an exemption. So our trade association is working with, the Alliance for Community Media is working with the FCC to insulate PEG channels and our members so that they do not have to do this annual filing kind of process. The FCC, I think, is interested in not having to face that as well. And then 2 other invitations that I will just offer you, particularly to Sarah, Polo, and Eric for the Elmhurst Historic Preservation District. They are doing their preservation house tour, the Julia Morgan House and the Coloma Community Center, coming up on Sunday, September the 11th. And Access Sacramento will be open in the community center during that 10 to 4 o'clock opportunity. And we encourage you to support the Historic Preservation Society, but also to stop by Access Sacramento if you're going to be in the Elmhurst area. And then I will also tell you that Access Sacramento this October will be celebrating its 30th anniversary. And as part of that, we're thinking about doing a small little open housey kind of thing on Wednesday, October the 26th there at the Coloma Center, and we're still in the midst of planning that. I may be approaching many of you to perhaps get resolutions from the city and the county in support of our 30th anniversary and as a thank you. So that concludes my report. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to assist.
Mr. Carr.
There are so many high schools in this area. How do you go about selecting the teams that you're going to broadcast?
We actually have a formal policy on how to approach that. It includes a variety of things, which include quality of the game. It includes the facility and whether we can broadcast from there safely, have space for the truck, some of those types of things. We are broadcasting this year 18 different schools in the 10-week schedule of the so 20 opportunities. We have 18 different schools that are involved. But we do have a formal written policy, and I'd be happy to share that with you. But part of it is availability, part of it is expanse, so that many people get an opportunity to get that exposure. Some of it is tied directly to your service districts and making sure that we're in each city and county as part of our outreach is kind of the way we approach it. Next week, for example, on the schedule, we're doing girls volleyball. We'll be with St. Francis out at El Camino High School. So we try and do boys and girls as well and do a nice mix of that. Fall is kind of a football season for us, but last year, for example, we did more girls basketball than we did boys.
Do you have a particular problem with some of the Sacramento schools, Kennedy, McClatchy, Burbank, Hiram Johnson? Are the facilities there such that it's impossible to broadcast from those places?
No, there's no problem with any of those schools. We were at McClatchy last year for girls basketball, for example. We've done McClatchy many times in CIF playoffs. We don't know those schools right now. I will tell you that either last year or 2 years ago. We were scheduled at Burbank and ended up canceling that game because of 106-degree weather. And so in that instance, we missed a Burbank assignment because of weather. We don't go out when it's that hot for our crew. There's a safety concern there because there's no shade, some of those types of things. But we do try and get a pretty good mix, and no, there are no restrictions in that regard.
Okay. We'll check the schedule out next year.
Right.
Okay.
No other questions. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
And Liz?
Good afternoon. I'm Liz Rhodes with the Sacramento Educational Cable Consortium, and two big things to share with you today. First is we too have a new website that we rolled out, but I will trust that when you go home, you'll take a look at it. It's focusing mainly on, the new focus for us was on our content and the different ways that we have of distributing that content and our partners, which are basically all of our school districts. So do take a look at that when you get a chance. The video that I wanted to share with you today is kind of a reprise of a project that we started years ago called Time of Remembrance. The thing that was amazing about that project, it was, we funded it through a grant and the Elk Grove School District, and we were able to do some recordings of some oral history. Some of those people are no longer with us. So it's an amazing project with some, and it's on the Elk Grove website, and it's linked also to ours, but it's an amazing project where there's content that is available to basically the world through the websites and through these videos. We have extended that, working with some folks from Elk Grove to include the Secret War. When I was in school, we didn't know about the Secret War because it was a secret war. So I'm going to show you just a short promotional clip of some of the oral histories and some of the things that we have been doing with that, and we are planning on continuing this with Elk Grove. So if we could roll that tape. Well, you all know what the Secret War is, right?
We couldn't tell anybody where we were, and so my family didn't know I was over there.
There are no American combat forces in Laos. We have been providing logistical support and some training for the neutralist government in order to avoid Laos falling under communist domination.
So my family didn't know where I was. They thought I was still in Vietnam.
When Laos fell, I remember my dad, he took us and he said, well, we're leaving. And I didn't know why we were leaving. I just knew that we were leaving.
But my father did not want to leave Thailand because his brothers and his parents were still stranded in Laos. He was the only one, and along with one of his brothers, that made out of Laos.
I believe that without my dad's sacrifice and without his willingness to leave what he was so familiar with and what he was so accustomed to, took lots of courage.
So the school that I went to at the time, there weren't any other Mien students.
This kid who was picking on me, he said, you know what, my father was fighting your father in Vietnam, and for me, I understood that, but I couldn't articulate that, no, my father saved your father in Vietnam. You don't understand that.
And not a lot of people completely understand or know the history of why the Hmong and the Miens came to the U.S.
Part of this project is really to help students understand that the differences in our community, in our schools, should be celebrated, but not necessarily looked upon as a negative thing.
very rich history here, and those are all our local citizens. So we're very pleased to be a part of this. It's ongoing, and we're including more and more students. Please take a look at the website from Elk Grove. It's listed, it's connected to our website. And take a look at the very rich materials so we can celebrate our differences. And it's a wonderful thing that we have to share on cable, on the educational channels, as well as through YouTube and other distribution things. So, and again, funded by you guys, so thank you. And any questions?
I don't have any requests to speak, so thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Good. And those are all the speakers I have, so Karen, I guess we can call the next item.
Item number 9 is state licensee reports.
And I have no requests to speak. So next item, please.
And the last item is to receive public comments, if any.
And I have no one signed up for that as well. So with that, we stand adjourned.
Thank you.